everybody. Welcome back to our HGC Devo series. As probably most of you know, we've been looking at the attributes of God during the last 2 weeks. And today I'm going to be looking at, we're having a conversation together about God's righteousness and His justice. So those are the important ones that we're going to be talking about for the next few minutes. If you'd like to turn in your Bibles, you can turn to Psalm chapter 19. And I want to look at a couple of verses in the book of Psalms. Probably you've heard in the last couple of weeks, you've heard a lot of things about justice in our nation, haven't you? And a lot of things about culture. If you've been watching any of the demonstrations or the protests, the racial unrest that's going on, you'll notice that one of the phrases that's used is no justice, no peace. That's a very familiar term. Then also you might be thinking about the flag. You know, we have our flag flying behind me here, and we say pledge allegiance to it. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and what?
Justice.
Justice for all. And then also in our Constitution, there's the word justice pops up, and it says that we're supposed to have equal justice for all. That's one of our rights as citizens of the United States of America. We have equal justice under the law. Where do we get that idea of justice from anyway? Where does that come from? Well, I want to do two things today. I want to talk about where it comes from, and I want to talk about how we apply it. And it's very interesting. If you look at Psalm 19, verse 9, it says, "The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever, and the justice of the Lord is firm," or true. "All of them are righteous." Very, very interesting comment there about that word righteousness and justice. They're actually the same root word in the Hebrew Old Testament. Isn't that interesting? The two attributes we're talking about today, justice and righteousness, are both from the same root word in the Hebrew. And the psalmist there says that the justice of God is firm and that all of them are righteous. And if you look over to Psalm 97, you can see another instance of that word. Psalm 97:2. "Clouds and thick darkness surround him." Actually, let's start before that. "The Lord reigns. Let the earth be glad. Let the distant shores rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround him. Righteousness and justice," same words, righteousness and justice, "are the foundation of his throne." So I have your coin I brought with me. It's actually a Susan B. Anthony dollar coin. Thought that was fitting for women's rights and justice for women. Susan B. Anthony was a big champion of that. God's attribute of justice and righteousness are like two sides of the same coin. One side is His justice, God is just, and the other side is that He is righteous. You can't have one without the other. So we're hardwired by our Creator to love justice, to want justice. So when you see injustice somewhere in your life, in our nation, in our world, it hurts our hearts and it makes us wonder, and we want to work for justice. That comes from our Creator. God designed us that way. But we're not like God in that the two sides of our personality is justice and righteousness, because sin got in the way. Righteousness has to be a part of justice. That's why God is perfect, because He's just and He is righteous. We want to be just, we work for justice, but sometimes we struggle with righteousness, don't we? We're sinners. We sin. So we have badness in our world. We have bad lawyers, we have bad cops, we have bad criminals, we have bad politicians, we have bad judges who are supposed to be administering justice, because we're sinful and we fall short of God's righteousness. We're unable to have that perfect blend that God and the Trinity has between justice and righteousness. So, what shall we do about that? If we want to model our lives after God's qualities and His causes, we need to choose our causes carefully. Make sure that when you're looking for a cause that you want to work for or work for justice, make sure it lines up with Scripture. And there are wonderful causes out there today that we can be involved in personally and our church. Of course, the one that jumps to mind is race relations. But there's also a large justice network for human trafficking, working for poverty, orphans. We can also work for family issues, Those are all justice issues. Pornography, gambling. We want to work for justice in those areas. And you know what? When you work for justice, it makes God happy. It makes God happy. That's a really neat thing. So, what organizations or ministries do you support with your time and with your money? Do they work according to your Christian worldview? Are they something that God would be happy about, that God would be glorified in working for these just causes that are out there? And we know there's a lot of them. There's a lot of inequality in our world in so many areas that we need to be working for as Christians. So understand this. We've probably talked about the fact that God is love. Well, God is also just. It's his middle name. God is justice. But flip that coin over, and on the other side of that coin, he's also righteous. And we need to strive together to put righteousness and justice in our lives. We need to be righteous people working for just causes. Isn't it great how God designed us? That's why we work for justice today. And when we do it with the right causes, it makes God really happy. We bless God when we do that. Thanks for listening today. Have a great day.